When people say Africa had no history before colonialism, they are wrong. Completely wrong. The continent was home to empires, kingdoms, and civilizations with advanced governance, trade, culture, and scholarship long before Europeans arrived. One civilization stands out as a perfect example: the Kingdom of Benin in West Africa. Not the modern country of Nigeria, not a European invention, but the Kingdom of Benin, which flourished from the 13th century to the 19th century. The Kingdom of Benin was an advanced society, famous for its art, politics, and economy. Its capital city, also called Benin, was a marvel. Wide streets, organized marketplaces, fortified walls stretching miles, and complex urban planning. Europeans arriving in the 15th century were astonished. Portuguese traders described a city more advanced than anything they had seen in Europe at the time. They expected mud huts and found a thriving urban center with bronze and ivory treasures. Benin was also an artistic powerhouse. The Benin bronzes are some of the most intricate and historically rich artworks in the world. Cast from bronze using the lost wax technique, these plaques, sculptures, and ceremonial pieces depicted kings, warriors, rituals, and important events in stunning detail. Through art, Benin recorded its history, its kings, its battles, its diplomacy, and its traditions, centuries before European historians would ever write about Africa. But the Kingdom of Benin was more than art. It had a strong political system. Kings, called obas, ruled with councils of chiefs and advisors. They oversaw trade, justice, and defense. Trade routes connected Benin to the wider world, exchanging ivory, pepper, gold, and textiles with Portugal and other nations. This shows Benin was not isolated. It was global. It engaged diplomatically, economically, and culturally with Europe, the Middle East, and other parts of Africa. Meanwhile, further north, the Mali Empire in West Africa provides another example. The Mali Empire, at its height in the 14th century under Mansa Musa, controlled vast territories and was legendary for its wealth, culture, and learning. Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 is still remembered for the economic shock it caused in Egypt, simply because of the enormous gold he distributed. Timbuktu, part of Mali, became a center of learning, housing thousands of manuscripts in law, mathematics, astronomy, and theology. These manuscripts prove that Africa was not only wealthy but intellectually advanced. While Europe struggled through feudalism and the Dark Ages, African scholars were debating philosophy, documenting law, and calculating planetary movements. Even further east, the Kingdom of Kush in Nubia had its own complex history. Kushite kings ruled Egypt as pharaohs during the 8th century BCE, producing monumental architecture, pyramids, and written records in hieroglyphs. They built a civilization that rivaled Egypt in sophistication and influence. South of the Sahara, civilizations like Great Zimbabwe left massive stone structures, walls, towers, and enclosures built without mortar, that testify to advanced engineering and urban planning. European explorers initially refused to believe Africans could build such structures, but the evidence is indisputable. Taken together, these civilizations, Benin, Mali, Timbuktu, Kush, and Great Zimbabwe, clearly prove that Africa had a rich, complex, and documented history long before colonialism. Africa was not a dark or primitive continent. It had art, science, governance, trade, and learning, the foundations of civilization. And yet colonial narratives tried to erase these histories. Schools rarely teach them. Museums often hide them, but the evidence remains. Bronzes, manuscripts, pyramids, and stone cities are proof. To deny African history is to deny evidence itself. The civilizations of Benin, Mali, Kush, and Great Zimbabwe tell a story of ingenuity, resilience, and brilliance. So the next time someone says Africa had no history, show them Benin's capital city, with its bronze plaques and fortified walls. Show them Timbuktu with its manuscripts that survived centuries. Show them Great Zimbabwe with its towering stone walls. History is written not only in European books, but in African cities, art, and archives. Africa's history did not start with colonization. It has existed for thousands of years, rich, complex, and undeniably brilliant. Education, trade, governance, art, and scholarship all thrived across the continent. And these civilizations did not merely survive, they thrived. influencing the world in ways we are only now fully beginning to understand. Africa had history. Africa had civilization. Africa had genius. And it continues to inspire today. Africa had kingdoms, empires, scholars, and innovators long before colonial powers arrived. Cities thrived, knowledge was preserved, and civilization flourished across the continent. Now that you've seen the evidence, it's time to challenge the stories you've been told. Share this video with friends and family. Comment below which African civilization surprised you the most. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to uncover more hidden histories of Africa that the world tried to forget. The story of Africa's brilliance doesn't end here. It's just beginning.